sparkles of light. This is Cherry Enchantress, and this is your daily dust for March 3rd if you're watching in real time, but it can also be from whenever you stumble upon it. You can treat it as a timeless reading. So using the law of attraction and letting yourself be guided to this reading, we're going to do a 3-card collective message using the Enchanted Romance Tarot, which is a deck that I created using pre-Raphaelite art. Yeah, there that is. The cover. All right, so I'm going to shuffle and take 3 cards from the middle. Okay, here we go. All right, 5 of Swords. It's haunting me. This card's always coming out. And Judgment. And the Moon. So last night, thank you for those of you who came out to the live, which was a live March reading event. And pick a card. And the third pile talked about the 5 of Swords. So if it feels sort of resonant to you, feel like there's an additional message, it's probably because it's in the March reading. So check that out as well. I'm going to zoom on in and see what we get. So in last night in the March reading, the 5 of Swords came out with little fairies doing the fairy things with their leaves or whatever, and it got me thinking, well, because it's all about the sign of, or the suit of air, which is swords and mental analysis and thinking and logic and all of that. It was kind of an aha moment. And what happens is I often get little ideas that pop into my head about this card in particular, because every deck has sort of a different variation on it, but generally it's about a hollow victory. You'll see a winner that maybe shouldn't have won something, and the losers walking away. And in a lot of times people can read it as the winner got there by cheating, and so that word cheating comes out, but it may not be cheating. It could be, could be something that just doesn't feel right. There's feels like you're going against the rules of society or something like that. In this case, it's interesting that the cover card came out, which represents the 3 of Cups, that I noticed it, because that's the rendezvous card in my deck. It represents the place, so a place where lovers can meet. But at the same time, the 3 of Cups is supposed to be a joyful celebration, but if you have this energy behind it, it's more secretive, right? It's a secret rendezvous. So I feel like there could be lovers here that are not being open about everything to the public because for some reason, sometimes it's legitimate and sometimes not so much, So sometimes it could be people are cheating. All right, that's there, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be somebody's feeling very selfish about the connection and they want to keep it to themselves. It could be some kind of romantic entanglement. It could be just a flirtation. It could be too risky to say something about it at this point in time. In other words, maybe for fear of people persecuting you or putting her down or him down or whatever. Maybe there's a little bit of overlapping in relationships, or maybe you are separated from somebody, but you're, seeing somebody else, could be some kind of thing like that. There seems to be a bit of selfishness involved in here, or fear of selfishness, fear of having what you want because it feels selfish, right? So this could be your own personal judgment on yourself. But judgment in general is about waking up, it's about atoning and being aware. It's absolution as well. It's a rebirth. It's a fresh start. It's a higher calling. It's divine guidance. It's the angel is wrapping their loving arms around you. This is Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, kindly directing you in the right place to go. This is also about forgiveness and the continuation of your journey. And for a lot of you, it could also represent the sign of Scorpio, whereas the moon can represent the moon or Cancer related or Pisces related. It kind of has a variety of things. The moon is about the subconscious, the underlying things. This could all be happening in dreams too. You could be, let's say, happily married and you dream about I don't know, I had dreams of Antonio Banderas when I was married. Or, you have like maybe really and when you feel sort of like, oh dang, why did I dream about that? So it could be something that you're trying to analyze and understand when you wake up. So the judgment's about waking up. In your waking life, you're fine, you're doing well, but maybe in your dream world something's going on, or maybe you daydream about things that you shouldn't be daydreaming about. It's important though to be honest with yourself wherever you are in the situation. And also there's different laws here. We have the 3D laws and rules that we live by, honor and, making oaths, especially when you're married. You make a promise, right? You make vows. When you're dating somebody, it's really up to the couple to determine what your boundaries are. So make sure you have clear boundaries of what you expect from each other when you're dating, when you're living together, wherever stage or level you are in your relationship. If you've been living together a long time, obviously to me, it would seem that you are like common law married and that you're not, seeing anyone else. And so that's kind of what you have to say to each other. But there's smaller boundaries. Like, what's a boundary for you is, can a person, your opposite, not hug people that are of the opposite sex, or not, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be opposite sex either, but like, what are the physical boundaries? What are the emotional boundaries? Things like that. So be sure that you're in agreement of things that to make you feel safe and comfortable within your relationship. And then don't imagine things that are not there, like be honest and open and talk about it to your partner. Like, I have these fears and they may be unfounded, but I just want to clear this up with you. Please let me know what's going on here. Is there anything I should be concerned about? And so it's important to bring those things out in the open and not let it all be underneath the radar, because just the unknown of it causes the situation to seem even worse than it actually is. And maybe those situations nothing at all. Maybe it's a nothing burger and you just like spun something out in your mind, like just created a story that didn't even need to be created because of your own insecurities. So check the reason behind some of your fears and why you say some things or think some things. Some of it could also too, like you've observed other people doing things, and so you're projecting the way they behave onto your condition, your circumstances. And it's possible, it can happen, but it doesn't necessarily have to happen. The best solution to the situation is clear communication with the person that you're involved with, instead of assuming things or imagining things. It's important to actually communicate with your person, to clarify things, and do so in a way that you're not judging them before the evidence comes out. It does feel a little like that, it's like judging before evidence. It's creating an assumption before the truth is actually out. There's a lot of subterfuge here, but there's also, because of the moon, a lot of imagination. The imagination can run wild, so don't let that happen. I feel like it's, you may have intuition, and intuition's great, but intuition, especially when you're emotionally involved in something, may need to be backed up by actual facts this time. So seek the facts and the truth, and don't just rely on this kind of intuition or idea, because I think there's some cases where your intuition are clouded by external factors and people like speaking to you in your ear and things like that. So just be aware that there could be more than what meets the eye. And that's what always the 5 and the 7 of Swords tells me. There's more to the story than meets the eye. So look into it a little bit better. And I feel the solution here is clear communication. And I hope you like that. Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust.